Did you see that interview with him where he said I would end the Ukraine war in a day?
Right.
And he said, do you not want Ukraine to win? Do you want Russia to win? He goes, no, I want people to stop dying.
Yeah. I saw that. Dude.
It's perfect.
You're allowed to say that.
Let's find that. Because they're playing gotcha on a subject. They're doing gotcha interview real quick. You don't have much time with them, so you got to get a gotcha. And they're doing this with a subject that literally has the fate of the world in front of it.
Right.
Because if nuclear war breaks out, because of all this, and these people are just flippantly supporting this continued conflict with no talk at all about some sort of a compromise.
Yeah.
Some sort of a conversation.
Anything. Or just starting a conversation. Starting one.
The question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were elected?
I would sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in 1 day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in 1 day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely over.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. Now,
can I just follow up on that? You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing. Mr. President, can I just follow up on that because that's a really important statement
let me
that
just
you just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying, Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say.
What's going on, my fellow deplorables? Welcome back to the 1776 Report, the #1 YouTube channel for exposing the stupidity of the woke left. That CNN town hall highlights how lost the woke left really is. They thought that asking Donald Trump, who do you want to win this war? Do you want Ukraine to win or do you want Russia to win? Was going to be a gotcha moment. It was going to be a question that pinned him in a corner and forced him to say that he wanted Ukraine to win. But they don't realize this is bigger than Ukraine or Russia winning. This is the future of the world. You're talking about the potential of nuclear war, and Joe Rogan highlights that. Joe Rogan is no conservative. He is no Republican. He voted for Obama, and he openly admits that. He voted for Bernie Sanders. He admits that. He is no conservative. This is becoming something different than Republican versus Democrat. This is becoming common sense versus insanity. We are talking about a war with nuclear powers, and it's growing. Russia just announced that they're sending nuclear bombs, nuclear weapons to Belarus. Belarus, Russia's neighbor, Ukraine's neighbor, is now in possession of nuclear weapons. Why does Russia want to send nuclear weapons to Belarus? In case the shit hits the fan. The more they have around the world, the more protected they feel. The more nuclear weapons that their allies have, this is getting out of control and it must be stopped. And Donald Trump saying to Caitlin Collins, who got absolutely obliterated, I don't care who wins. I just want people to stop dying and I want to avoid a catastrophe. That is the correct answer because nobody's going to win this war because rarely does anybody really win a war. Both sides eventually come together. One side may have more chips to bargain with. One side may have an advantage, and I would guess that's probably going to be a Russia when it's time to come to the table. And they come together, they come to agreement, and you go home. That's the way this usually works. Look at any war. It's never one side absolutely obliterates the other side until there's no soldiers left to fight a war. It's they come to the table, they talk, and they get it done. That is going to have to happen, and it needs to happen. This cannot continue. And this was such a bad night for CNN that this ended up costing CNN chairman and CEO Chris Licht his job. Donald Trump ended Chris Licht and he ended CNN. CNN chairman Chris Licht was fired shortly after. It was like 2 weeks after the town hall, he was fired. The reason he was fired is because Chris Licht wanted to bring CNN back towards the middle. He wanted to bring CNN in as a middle-of-the-road media outlet. But there was a coup from the inside over at CNN. There was a revolt, a rebellion, and they got him axed. CNN is now up for sale. There's rumors that CNN is up for sale, and it is going to be sold. Warner Brothers Discovery, the current owner of CNN, wants nothing to do with it. They want to get their money out of CNN and move on because Donald Trump absolutely destroyed CNN, and this town hall highlighted how the woke leftists are so confused. The Democrat Party used to be the party of peace. During the Vietnam War, they would protest, they would march on the streets holding signs saying, "End the Vietnam War." Well, now they are so brainwashed by the mainstream media. They believe anything they see on the mainstream media, anything on MSNBC, CNN, they believe it. They are throwing away their values because the mainstream media is telling them to. Now, the populist movement, the MAGA movement, is becoming the movement of peace, the party of peace. The same party that was protesting in the streets trying to end the war in Vietnam is now the party that is arguing to continue to send arms and money to Ukraine, to pour gasoline on the fire and add fuel so this war can keep on going. Instead of arguing to come together, strike a peace deal, they want to continue to fight. And here's an article from the liberal publication The Atlantic. Russia has reached a dead end. An indifferent response to a warlord's march on Moscow heralds the dawning realization that Russia has no good way out in Ukraine. They don't want to give Russia a way out. They think it's possible to beat up Russia so bad they just go home. Not gonna happen. You have to give them a way out. And that's what Donald Trump is saying. That's why during the CNN town hall, Donald Trump would not call Vladimir Putin a war criminal. Sure, he may be a war criminal. I think a lot of people think he's probably a war criminal. But how do you call somebody a war criminal and then come to the table with them and strike a peace deal? You cannot do that. If you call him a war criminal, he's got to be prosecuted and possibly executed for his war crimes. You cannot call somebody a war criminal and then come to the table and strike a peace deal. So these leftist mainstream media publications like The Atlantic that were cheering for the Wagner Group, for their coup to be successful, for their real insurrection to be successful over the weekend, don't realize how this is going to end. What do you think is going to happen if Russia's backed into the corner? If they feel like they're losing the war in Ukraine? Do you think they're just going to take their troops out and go home? I don't think so. You have to strike a peace deal. You have to come to the table. Let me know what you think about this. I love you guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Until next time, peace.